Back at the David Collins grave, learned that the person next to him is believed to be William Edward Baker. I think he died in the 1930s as well. His great-grandson contacted me on Facebook through Messenger and through the post I put on the Flin Flon Heritage Facebook group. So back at the burial location here, and I'm going to try and clean up this so it's a little more obvious. I got chainsaw, got the whippersnipper. I'm not going to go crazy because you know, this is nature here and I don't want to cut everything down, but I want to make it a little easier for somebody to come in here if they want. It's a steep incline, so getting rid of some of these branches here out of the way, make it a little more obvious on the side of the highway would be great. So I've had another errand to run here in Flin Flon, and I'm on my way back, and then I figured I'd stop here and do this. Okay, I didn't go crazy with the chainsaw, but I cleared a bit of a path there. Take the whippersnipper, it's a lot safer, and fire that up, and then I'll probably end up using the clippers there, trim around the grave. I didn't even see this before. There's actually a second chain down here. That was just the first chain. It's a good thing I saw it. Could have tripped on that. So I'm going to clean the inside perimeter now with whippersnipper. Right, a couple minutes of whippersnipping, and there is 2 chains here. So anybody visiting, just be aware that you know, that bottom one could be a safety hazard for you for tripping. And you know, try to clean it up the best I can. So, you know, all the organic growth is out of here. When I was cleaning up the back here, a bit of a date got exposed. It says it's like 1878. I guess that must be his year of birth. I put that into the concrete. Once again, David Collins headstone near Baker Narrows Bridge. I've been informed that this is the grave of William Edward Baker, died in the 1930s, and I'm going to suspect that this is actually David Collins' original cross, just because of the placement, and it doesn't make sense to have a double grave one on top of the other here, so I'm going to assume it's it was left here. Can't see anything on the headstone. That might look like a C right there. And this one here had something, but it's gone. And I don't see anything on the ground. So I'm going to take the clippers. I'm going to clip off a bunch of other little roots in here. Try to rake this up. And I'm going to pick up all these branches. And so that's that. So, cleared an obvious path up to the road here. I've trimmed back a lot of those wild rose bushes and willows that would be tripping hazards. If you see here, you got a nice clear path for walking. Of course, I'm not responsible for the maintenance of this isolated graves, plural, sorry. And this is a bit of a steep climb. And coming up the hill, here's the Baker's West Channel. You can now clearly see this headstone from the road. So going back down again, steep incline. Wouldn't recommend this for just anybody. If you think you can make it, great, good for you. Again, I'm not responsible, but a lot of these tripping hazards are now out of the way. I am going to actually come back down here with a rake and try to rake more of this stuff up. You've got a big dead log right here. Note that there's 2 chains around this little cemetery, an upper and a lower. You have to walk around it, and I would recommend coming to visit the stones from the side. So, by going over, okay, little area cleared off over here. You have to walk by that tree. The tree's dead, that's probably going to come down at some point. And David Collins. Died May 27th, 1931. He's pretty famous in Flin Flon. Been led to believe this is William Edward Baker. And the black flies out here are thick, thick, thick. But I'm going to get the rake and try and rake this area up a little bit more. And come right back. This is where I park for safety. There's a nice pullover spot right before the bridge. Again, Baker's West Channel. This is a road going to Flin Flon. And you just walk along this path here. And the traffic is ongoing. So I would recommend you walk on the embankment side of the guardrail. But just shortly before the bridge, as indicated in the last video, you're going to see where the stone is. And I've made it more obvious. I've talked to one gentleman from the Flin Flon Heritage Project. So there used to be a sign here, and it's not visible anymore. I don't know where it is. But if you get up here, right before you hit this sign here, I think it's a school bus sign, and you look down, and voila, look at that. You can see the path, and you can see the headstone right from the road. So I'm going to take the rake I got here, rake up that path a little bit, and we'll show you the final product. Whew, you can see all the sand flies on the video here. So spent last 10-15 minutes cleaning the inside, raked everything up, whipper snippered, took the chainsaw, cut some of those bigger branches. Car on the highway here. Path leading up is clear. That's a dead tree trunk. That's a dead tree trunk, So carefully you're stepping on those. I think I've removed all the tripping hazards, those little willows and anything else you might get your foot caught on. Put some of the spoil pile back there, mostly leaves and pine needles. A bunch of the other branches I kind of threw over here, but it was a big pile back there already. Anybody from Flin Flon wants to attack this dead tree here, it's probably a good thing. Otherwise it might fall on these graves at some point. Again, David Collins. He is the discoverer of the ore body that led to Flin Flon, believed to be William Edward Baker. I have both these stones identified on Find a Grave as the cemetery is Baker's Narrows Isolated Graves. You can walk down here, no problem. It says in the back, David Collins, founder of Flin Flon Mine. I believe that's his original cross. I'm going to leave that there, but I've been told by the family this is William Edward Baker. You can access along this side here and then walk over there. And again, beware, there's two chains, an upper and a lower. And if anybody from Flin Flon is doing any preservation out here, I would highly recommend painting those chains so they're more visible. Get some good metal paint, spray paint. But I would cover the headstones with a tarp so that no paint gets on the headstones. Well, that took me about an hour today. Glad I was able to come back before the snow fell. And if you're going to be visiting the David Collins, William Baker graves, they're now cleared out and you can visit at any time. Strongly recommend that you're able to walk up and down that embankment though. There's nothing to grab onto. So come visit at your own risk. But it is worth it to see this piece of Flin Flon history.